Okay. So this is where I start to make my improvements. This is off my NCSS lesson plan with the biohazard, and I'm discussing, and this one focuses specifically on foreign policy, and that's how I wanted it to. So right up here, one of the guiding questions says, in what ways the atomic bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki change international politics? Well, that's going to directly link in with the big question: why has international politics changed since the end of World War II? And we're specifically speaking about nuclear weapons. And so I've tied a guiding question into the big question. And then my objective one, students will be able to assess why international politics and foreign policy changed after World War II. So that already there's a greater linkage between the objective, which this objective comes from standard B in the SOL. So there's a stronger linkage. And then the next objective, students will be able to analyze international theories. Now, it wasn't like I wanted students to just like leave the classroom saying, I know what realism is, I know what liberalism is, because we all know that those concepts, they can be strung out in different directions. But I wanted objective 2 to link with what is the differences between realism and liberalism. I wanted them to understand what are these different theories, what's the difference between cooperating and what's the difference between defecting. Okay, and I think this worked better. And again, this was better because I used goal-oriented learning. I set it up so like, okay, this is what I want my class to understand, and this is how I'm going to get it done. And then I tried to link everything in together. And I think through the linkages, I think I did a better job with this lesson plan. Talked about this right here. I provided Just Do It. So I go back, and Dr. Hicks used this video early in the semester, and I fell in love with this video. The time-lapse video of every nuclear explosion since 1948, or 1946, 1945, I'm sorry. This was a great video. I used this video in class, and I had a block class, so I was like, hey, should I show all 15 minutes of it? But then, I was like, yeah, I should. I want to show all 15 minutes of it, because I want them to understand it. And I always like tell the class before, I'm like, guys, this is, I've watched a lot of things. This is the scariest thing I've ever watched. I mean, because if you can only imagine, this many nuclear weapons have been detonated on Earth, it's crazy, right? So I provide a Just Do It, and I use video analysis. So I think it's a more creative Just Do It. All right, and then I link in the objectives with the plan for the lesson. So I link in my objectives for as I go along. Whether that students will be assessed on why international politics and foreign policy change during World War II. So that's objective 1. That's going to link in with the Just Do It. And then that way, as I look down through the lesson, I can, okay, well, I've hit this objective. This is good. I've hit it during the Just Do It. And I'm probably going to hit these same objectives as I go through this lesson. Okay, so I thought I did a better job there. And I also assigned groups. I assigned groups. I didn't put the assigned groups on here. I assigned groups on my PowerPoint. I had 2 designated readers, note takers, and presenters, and this could vary with class size, of course. I had some people reading, I had some people taking notes while people were reading, then I had, somebody that was going to present for that group on the question given that day, all right? All right. And this is what, as I told Dr. Hicks earlier, I put this in an e-portfolio, and now I can't find it again. But I put this creative growth thing. I think one of my biggest problems as going into education, I'm not the most creative person. I'm a bit bland in a way. So being creative was important for me. So I was proud of myself when I did something creative. You guys know I did the Greek baseball cards with y'all, and well, kids just don't collect baseball cards anymore. And that's what I realized. I think it was like a late 90s thing or mid 90s, And so instead of doing the Greek baseball cards, I did Roman gods and goddesses Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Now I had to call some people because I didn't know anything about these Yu-Gi-Oh things. But I called some people and I got I got descriptions on them, and I had to include the following description: the power level 0 to 12, whatever that means. Like Zeus could not, or Jupiter could not go below 12. I mean he had to be 12, but nobody else could be 12. But he had to have a weakness, like he was lactose intolerant or something. So they would make up something, and it was really fun. So they would something with Jupiter, and I provided this really cool website, which is like the nerdiest website ever because it gives you every Greek and Roman god and goddess that's ever been thought of, and it gives you descriptions of them. And they had fun with this, and I thought I was pretty proud of myself because I knew nothing about this. but they enjoyed it. And I gave them like some writing assignments sometimes, like briefly explain your favorite like Greek god or goddess, and I'll provide websites for them to look at and say, hey, you know, write a short summary. Tell me what you like. You know, who do you think's interesting? Because kids are still in ninth grade, so they still got, you know, more of an imagination than I do. I did an electoral college game. I think you were there for this one, where they would roll the dice, and like if I got 7 and Brandon got 5, I won the popular vote for that state. But if I won the popular vote in Nebraska, who really cares? Because if you won the popular vote in California, you got more electoral votes. And we did this, and it was a fun exercise. And then I used you know, different just do it's and things like that. So I really like this one. Some of the kids are like, some of the kids knew this was the Pope. Some of these kids thought this guy was a wizard. So I mean, it went back and forth. But I mean, obviously it's a patriarch. But I mean, it's really cool. It's an image from like 1956 when they like finally like kind of sit down together and talk things out. So I was proud of myself when I did something that was interesting. The evolution of my opener. Okay, this opener right here, it says, in what ways do geographical features shape economies and political social developments and trade? Okay, this is not a bad, I don't think this is a bad just do it. I don't think it's a bad just do it for us. But I think for a group of ninth graders, there's no connection, man. I think I could have used like Florida as an example. I'm teaching about Greek geography. I'm teaching about peninsulas and things. And I use it as a just do it. They didn't really jump on it. So I go from that, and I do a little better. I make real-world connections. I'm talking about the fall of Rome here. I'm talking about the problems in the United States. I'm saying, what kind of problems do we have in the United States? Is the United States going to face a situation like Rome does? There's going to be a number of different things. I go from that, and now I start using more visuals, where I say, okay, what's going on here? So when we're talking about the Roman Republic, I say, okay, what's going on here? Tell me what you think is happening here. And I go from that to when we go into Islam, I think I get a little bit better with it, and I start making more connections for real-world events. I start using like videos of like interviews of Malcolm X explaining his conversion to Islam, his pilgrimage to Mecca, and I use this with the 5 pillars of Islam just to explain some different things and show them that, you know, there are some American Islamic people. So we did a little thing of Muhammad Ali too, a funny interview with him. It was pretty cool. So I thought I did better. I was more creative with my openers, and I did a better job with them. Okay, improvement. I'm more professional. Okay, I mean you guys know me before. I mean I can tie a tie now. I have to do it on the table. I have to use a YouTube video. I can do it. You loop it here and you pull it through. It always works out nicely. So it's on there. It's how to tie a tie in 10 seconds. I'm more creative. I'm not the most creative person. I think I've done better with that. I think I'm more creative now than I've ever been. I have stronger planning strategies and techniques. I mean, I'm not the best at it, but I think I'm getting better, and I'm willing to learn. I think that's important. And with this, I mean, I don't go to football practice, and I don't do things just to do it. The activities I do have a goal, and I think there's really strong linkages between coaching and teaching. Like I don't go out there and I don't run a drill and then turn around and run something that's completely not what we're doing that day. It has nothing to do with what we just did. Everything I do in coaching is scaffolding. Okay? I'm more comfortable than I've ever been. I mean, finally getting to that student teaching experience, I was more comfortable. I feel more comfortable with the kids, and I enjoyed myself through it. I've learned, I've always tried to have a more creative opener. Over plan for block schedule. Don't expect students to automatically know they should use a pencil on Scantron, because they typically don't know that. I mean, I had a kid multiple times use a pen. And then I said, why'd you use a pen? And he said, Coach, you told me never to ask you again for a pencil. And I said, I didn't mean it like that. And I said, make your content relatable as possible. I'm doing better with that. I think I did that with my Just Do It. Try to always fit in some sort of closure. I struggle with this. I have to do better with that. Pronouncing things incorrectly, it happens. Dr. Hicks was there. It was horrible. But YouTube it in front of them. Show them that you can't pronounce it correctly, but you can find out. Talk to others and just listen. I'm a lifelong learner. I want to get better at everything I do. Room for improvement. I want to continue to develop better lesson plans. I want to develop better writing assessments. I need to do that. And I need to be more consistent, but not too consistent. I need to have a more consistent schedule, but I don't want to get so consistent that I'm not creative, is what I mean. Okay? Continue to improve creativity, and that's something that I talked about. I want to continue to be more creative. I'll continue to develop things that my kids like. I need to have better time management, and that means balancing coaching and teaching. That's tough for me right now. Make content come to life, and make time for my family, because I don't do that a lot because I'm constantly gone out coaching. I need to figure out a way where I can teach, coach, and still see my family when I can see them. These are my two guys. Both of them are playing Bluefield. He starts left tackle at Bluefield. He starts safety at Bluefield. And I got to coach both of these guys. I'm very proud of them. So I put images in here of kids that I've worked with throughout, my time at Auburn High School. And I've really enjoyed it. And I appreciate it. Thank you.